Hey, 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 family. All righty, let's give a few minutes for people to come in. How are we doing today, family? I hope my audio is good. All right, all right, all right. Blog Talk Radio, welcome. Welcome, 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 everybody. Yes, welcome, everybody. I want to hear that again. All righty. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope we're having a good week. I hope we're being careful out there. I hope we're having a good week. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Also, I'm doing a YouTube at the same time. So if you guys want to switch over, you can to YouTube. The title, you can get the title, which is The Changing of the Gods, or that's the Blog Talk. You have to go to Changing of the Gods and PTSD, Help I Need Healing. That is what we're going to talk about tonight, PTSD. Also, YouTube. You can call in if you want for Blog Talk. Let me give you that number for Blog Talk. The number to call in for Blog Talk is going to be 563-999-3682. Again, it's 563-999-3682. YouTube, you can I did leave a link. So if you want to come in and have, comments or just be part of the discussion, feel free. And I do appreciate everybody that is here right now and everybody that's going to come and visit this channel periodically throughout the year, throughout the week, throughout the month, whatever. I do appreciate for you taking out your time. You didn't have to. You could have been someplace else. But I do appreciate you wanting to learn about what is going on in the Black community. And I don't even think we really understand what's going on. But I'm glad that you're here so that we can kind of understand just a little bit, because it's a lot going on right now. And I'm seeing a lot that's not making any sense. And I decided to do a little bit of research to understand what is going on in the Black community. Why am I seeing so much division? And I'm telling you, it's really amazing at the division I'm seeing. Um, let's talk about the PTSD. Let me look up that and see what exactly is PTSD. Let me see. I had it up here. Let me just go in here and see. Because I think what we need to learn, we need to know what that is before we can address it. We need to know what it is. Okay. So let's go in there first. Okay, the meaning of it. I started to write it down and I said, no, I'll just go to it when I wanted to learn and see what it means. It's post-traumatic stress disorder, or I call it slave disorder. It's a psychiatric disorder that can occur in people who have experienced or witnessed a traumatic event, such as a natural disaster, a serious accident, a terrorist act, which is what we're going through in America. We're going through terrorist attack with the police officers. Every day, you're worried about if you're going to die. You're worried about if they stop you. What happens? What do you feel when you see a police officer? What do you feel when you see one get behind you? What do you feel when you see, when you're around them? Period. And those are triggers. Okay. Um, Let me see. Terrorist acts, war, combat, rape, or other violent personal assaults. Okay. Even seeing it every day on TV. Okay. If you see, for instance, George Floyd, when we saw him and the way that he was treated by that police officer, everybody kind of felt something. We saw it on TV, but you had people that were there that was witnessing it. What were they feeling? That right there can create PTSD. Okay, and I think the young lady that taped it, is suffering today with PTSD because of the trauma that she witnessed firsthand. Okay, because everybody literally that was standing out there, they saw this man literally die, right? Okay, in their face. Let me ask you a question. Back in the day, when they were lynching black folk on trees, okay, what do you think that they felt? Because I remember when I was young, I saw a picture of a postcard of a young lady, and you had a guy that was literally hanging, um, that was literally hanging on a tree, and the little girl was smiling. And when I would see that, I was thinking, what is she smiling about? I always used to wonder that. Hey, welcome you guys. Oh, it was "I Want to Live." That's the song. The little boy that was singing. You can pull it up on YouTube. It's an amazing, amazing song. It's called "I Want to Live." Okay. Um, it's when the young woman would look up at this man hanging on a tree, or they was burning bodies. They would literally take bids for his body pieces. They would literally take a finger, they would take a toe, they would take a part of his penis, they would take a something, some part of that person that they just hung up on the tree and they burned him. They would take a piece of his body. Can you imagine what they felt? They went through PTSD and didn't even understand it. They went through it. Okay. You have different like 17 the 17 symptoms. Let's talk about the symptoms of PTSD. And I'm gonna help you to understand why I think we're going through PTSD right now. Okay. Um, One of them is let's see. Okay. Some of the most common symptoms of PTSD includes the following. Okay, intense feeling of distress when reminded of tragic events. Okay. Don't we face that all the time? Okay. Extreme physical reaction to reminders of trauma, such as nausea, sweating, or a pounding heart. Okay. Invasive, upsetting memories of a tragic, whatever tragedy, and it could be in our childhood. Say like you were in a car, and say like for instance, okay, for instance, the little boy who our what's her name? Our what's the little girl? The woman. I got her name in my head, but she died when the police officer did a wellness check on her, and her nephew was there. Do you think that he's suffering with PTSD today because he literally saw his aunt die? Can you imagine every time he sees a police officer now, or he hears a bullet, a gun going off, rather being on TV or rather being a firework that sounds like a gun? Can you imagine what that young man, the baby, because I think he was like 10 or 11. Can you imagine? Do you think that him seeing his aunt who was killed in front of him, do you actually think that that affected him? Yes, it affected him. Do we think that stuff that we go through every day by being stopped by the police and being thrown to the ground and being tormented and being literally abused, do you think that any of that has really resonated with us? Okay, for instance, some of us have never been through any major situations, but we've experienced trauma in our childhood, like being raped, molested. All of that has something to do with PTSD. We can develop PTSD, any kind of trauma, losing a child, being in a car accident. I remember my daughter was in a car accident her senior year, and it broke her hip. And when she would get in the car, she would be breathing hard, and I didn't understand it because I'd never been through that. It would just catch her breath, and I made her. She didn't want to drive for a while. I literally made her get in the seat and start driving. Okay, so we have to understand what's really going on. And let's just go through some more stuff. Invasive, upset memories of the tragedy, flashbacks, feeling like the trauma is happening again. Okay, that means you have triggers. Okay, different things. For instance, say like for instance, if your mom was kind of well abusive as a child and they kind of ignored you, or punishment was ignoring you, or punishment was putting you in a closet. Do you understand how fearful a child is of the dark, and they put you in a dark closet and close the door and you was left in there for days on end? That stuff right there causes PTSD. And I'm just wanting black folk, we've suffered PTSD, and it's in our bloodstream, it's in our DNA, and they passed it down from generation to generation. Okay, I'm gonna give you examples. We're gonna talk about some examples. I got that out and about and ready to go. So just hang on. I want you to go with me here. I want you guys to recognize we have to start recognizing it in order to fix it. We have to recognize it. Okay. Nightmares of either frightening things uh, of the event, like for instance, if someone was abused, they'll have nightmares about being molested, or if you were beaten, or if you were married to an abusive husband, and say, like for instance, you were driving in a car and he would always, threaten, become very violent in the car when he's driving. And once, say for instance, one time, it might have been to a point where he would be going real fast and then tell you to get out, jump out, different things like that. This is what we're talking that creates PTSD, a loss of interest in life and daily activities. Okay. Aren't we losing interest in life as Black people? We don't even want to do this. Black men don't even want to be men. They don't even want to do this every day. They're dealing with a depression. That's why some are laying around, some are overeating, some are not, feeling tired and, oh my God, I got to do this again, or I got to go to this job that the job is, you're going through a PSD on your job because the supervisor don't like you, the supervisor's disrespecting you, supervisor just doesn't care, and he doesn't seem like he care. Those are feelings of emotional numb and detachment from other people, a sense of not leading a normal life, not having positive outlooks of your future. Okay, isn't that what we're going through now, dealing with these race soldiers? Okay, a sense of not leading a normal life, not having a positive outlook of your future. Isn't that something when every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days, we literally hate when we get in our car and drive and a police officer, you see a police car, you go, oh my God, you instant fear, instant trauma, instant fear comes up and you go, oh my God, is he gonna pull me over? Is he, you pass by him and you're like looking at your speed, you're looking to see if he's coming behind, you're looking to see, make sure I got my seatbelt on, making sure everybody is sitting down, y'all don't move, just different things. That right there, okay, that's PTSD. Avoiding certain activities, feeling thoughts or places that remind you of the tragedy. Okay, just for instance, the young boy that went through our, what is that girl's name? I can't think of it. It starts with an A. She lived in Texas, and her nephew. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm drinking some water, so please forgive me, you guys. But her nephew saw her get blown away. Okay, just like other incidents was where you were, say, for instance, you were driving in a car, a Castile, Philando Castile. Okay, his girlfriend was there. That baby who was 6, she was there. Do you think that woman is going through PTSD right now? Yes, the baby is too. So you're not. So when things are happening in their lives, we don't think, oh my God, they just went through this. So when something like when a police officer gets behind her, she probably panics. When that baby hears a gunshot, or when that baby experiences a gunshot, maybe seeing it on TV, or actually if she's living in a neighborhood where they're shooting, that right there brings back those memories, bring up those feelings. So we have to really understand what's going on with Black people. Okay, a difficulty remembering important aspects of a tragic event. Okay, sometimes we stuck them. We kind of, well, it was all good. We try to act tough. Just like I'm thinking about the little boy that was the whole family, the young kids that was placed on the floor, on the ground of a hot ground. When those police officers stopped that van, and that woman had 6 children, and all 6 of her children were placed on a hot ground. Okay, and you think that family, those children aren't going to have PTSD or didn't develop PTSD because that situation was traumatizing. They probably didn't even think that they were going to live. Okay. So we have to understand that we're going through some very serious times right now. Okay. We have to understand that we are very sensitive people. Okay. And we go through what they call flashbacks. Okay. Flashback memories. Okay, and that's dealing with the trauma that we've gone through. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Okay, um, we have to let's talk about hold on, I got so many notes here. I'm trying to see where do I want to start. Okay, right now I think that we are in the most abusive relationship ever. Okay, with America, race soldiers, white people, white supremacy. Okay, that is going on right now, right here, and we are in a very abusive relationship. And I don't even think we understand how serious it is. I don't even think we think that it is that it's affecting us the way it is, but it is, because I can tell when I see a young man that's trying to do something to free Black folk, and I see mostly Black men fighting against this very intelligent, very masculine man. And I'm hearing a lot of negative talk, but these are by people that's doing nothing. It's a question of what's going on with them. Why would we fight against such an amazing movement? Why would we um, keep voting Democrat? Why would we keep voting for people that we know that will do absolutely nothing for us? Why would we protect our enemies? Why would we, for instance, I was hearing somebody telling a story about slavery and how if the master's house was on fire, you're back there in the back. The fire won't even affect you. You'll have slaves running out, running to save master's house. Oh, we've got to get some water to put out the fire on master's house. Well, they gone. Let it burn. I would have been like, we? Who is we? I'm going back to bed. I don't care if that thing, I don't care, let it burn and everybody in it. I'm just saying. That's not, I'm just saying. I'm sure we all have had some trauma, but I think more of us go through, it affects us in different ways. You have trauma, like for instance, Nat Turner, okay? When he was going around murdering of those white supremacy slave owners, okay? He had a person that was operating with him, okay, in his own regime that went against him, that ran away from him and ran and told Master, hey, they doing blah blah blah, and they just killed blah blah blah, and they do it, and I mean gave the whole nine, couldn't sing enough for that extra piece of pie that he didn't get, because they probably killed him, okay. Or you had the Black Panthers, whose security gave them the floor plans and told the exact place where the guy was sleeping with his girlfriend, okay, or wife, okay. So we have them amongst us who look like us but don't act like us, who don't have a heart for us, who has a heart for white supremacy. Come on, we understand what's going on here. I'm trying to help us to understand what's really going on with Black folk. Now, let's look at Harriet Tubman. She had people that didn't even want to go free and get free, knowing that she had already been free, that she was coming back to get them. But they didn't even want to go. They was like, oh no, we good, we comfortable, we good. We got a meal, we got a hot bed, we good. Even though we getting the hell beat out of us. You getting raped, you getting the baby stolen, you getting your babies cut out you, you getting buck broke, your children getting fed by alligators, fed to the alligators, but you say you good. Ain't that something? How you good? But that's PTSD. Nobody wanted to follow Harriet. It's some people, like myself, I'd have been, girl, let's go. And I'd have been coming back to get more. But I would have probably relatives that would have been like, no, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to just see if you get free first. And then you come back and you come on, I'm going to go on the next trip. Then the next trip came and they said, well, I'm going on the next trip. The next trip came, but they never came. You understand what I'm saying? So PTSD stops you from moving forward, stops you in your tracks. Okay. Let's talk about, and Harriet Tubman had to kill a few people. I think it was her husband or ex-husband or somebody. She had to kill a few people because they, was going on a trip, going on a journey. They was getting free and they wanted to turn back because they got scared. Okay. She had to kill them because, they would have talked. All Master would have had to say was, look, I'm going to cut your toes off. I'm going to treat you like Kunta Kinte. You better say what you need to say or we're going to whoop you half to death. And the Negroes would have been fussing and cussing and they would have been, they would have been stepping over each other to tell, well, this is the trip. Let me write it down how she went. She went up this way, turned left this way and went up this way. Honey, they'd have had the map. Okay. Hi, Philip. Thank you for joining. That's what's going on now. Absolutely. I am trying to help us to recognize what is going on in the Black community. Okay. We got NFAC. A man is trying to free Black folk. I mean, he's doing the work. He's building the defense. He went into Stone Mountain, had 1,500. He went into Louisville, he had 6,500, and he's going back. You know, you still have black folk, black men, more black men. I ain't heard no black women. Now I heard one black woman, but he's doing boots on the ground, doing the work. And do you not know? I have heard nothing but negative about him from black men who are, I'm thinking, are feeling a little jealous because he's making them feel uncomfortable. He's because they woman looking at them like, why you ain't joining? And they're like, no, I'm not. He gonna get them killed. That's the first thing you hear. Oh, you gonna get them? Oh, you gonna get us killed? Dummy, if you looked around, you're dying anyway, and you're dying doing nothing. You're dying for no reason. If you're gonna die changing your situation, not sitting still doing nothing but dying anyway. That makes no sense to me. Just like those 9 people in the church, and I'm not judging. Please don't. I don't want to offend or affect anybody. I'm really not. I just want to bring a point out. When the 9 people in the church, you mean tell me 9 people? Nobody felt that demon sitting right there. Nobody felt nothing. Somebody had to feel something, but didn't move. They didn't move, and they didn't say. But somebody just felt like, oh, he ain't gonna hurt us. You feeling all kind of stuff going on in your heart. You're right. You feeling all that rage and all of this. You know, you had to be feeling something, but you ignored it and said, "Oh, he ain't gonna hurt us." You trust in your open enemy, and you calling him a friend. Because what the lady that testified, she said, "We told you, we thanked you, we enjoyed you coming to our service." That's what they told this killer. I forgive you. You just put me through PSDS, and I'm gonna forgive you. No, brother. No, it ain't happening. I'm just saying. But we have to understand. Okay, let's talk about Haiti. Remember Haiti when before they did their uprise? Haiti had to kill the coons. Haiti went through and they killed all the coons because they know them coons was gonna rise up against them and fight for the enemy. That's exactly what would happen. The coons would have rose up against their own because I seen an incident that happened. It was 2 police officers and they were fighting. One police officer, I'm sorry, and it was a black guy, and they was fighting the black guy, and he was trying to arrest the black guy. He was having a rough time. Do you not know that you had a coon? Boy, this burns me up every time I think about it. You had a coon that went over there and jumped on the black guy and helped the police officer out to arrest his brother. Help me to understand that. Ooh, I want my water. I brought my water so I can calm down tonight. I ain't gonna be hollering. I'm trying to go through this so you guys understand what's happening with the black folk. Okay. So he helped his enemy. And I guess he thought he was gonna get a treat. But I'm sure he didn't. Because guess what? What's gonna happen when you get stopped? You're gonna have somebody that's gonna help him. You're gonna have somebody that's gonna help you. Maybe, maybe not. So what's really going on in the black community? They know. Let's talk about the Democratic Party just for a minute. I'm not going to keep dwelling on them just for a minute. They know that we are a very sensitive people. And right now with this Democratic DNC, they are pulling on our emotions. Okay. Even though Obama did nothing for black folk, he didn't write one law. He didn't pass a law. He didn't write a law. He didn't even have a law that people, the Senate, your black caucus didn't write a law. They didn't have a law that he was able to veto. They didn't even write a law, but seeing you dying every day. These are your black caucus, the people that you need to be voting out of office. And you need to be voting them out, family. Vote locally to change our situation. You run for these offices. We come behind you as a whole, and we support you financially because that's what we don't do. We don't support anybody financially. We just continue voting for people that do absolutely nothing for us, but they do for people that back them with finances. If we start backing people with finances, they'll do more for us. But we don't back anybody with money. We back them with our vote, and that's it. They're not going to stick their neck out for nobody that's not offering them money. Black caucus, half of them are immigrants. They came from Sheila Jackson came from what? Jamaica, I think. But they come from over there. They don't have that. They didn't have that slavery struggle. They didn't have that American struggle. They didn't deal with white folk the way we dealt with them. So they don't know the struggle we went through. So, and they handpick them out, and they only bring the ones over here as bootlegs. Okay, those are the only coons that's coming over here. They're not gonna pick no coons. They're not gonna pick people, black folk like myself, to say, okay, let's pick one of Cassie's children to come over there because I know she. No, 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 no. They're not gonna pick my child. They're not gonna pick my cousin. They're not gonna pick somebody that reminds them of me because I'm too hard for them. I'm too hardcore for them. But they'll pick somebody like Candace Owens. They'll pick her. They'll pick her family. Okay, even though this girl had gone through some abuse by the mayor's son of her city, her town, she ended up suing the city and suing the mayor because his son was giving her such a hard time, and she ended up getting $350,000. But now she won't say ain't no racism. I don't know what world she living in, but I think she's just a fool, an idiot, a very foolish woman. Okay, who's trying to, she's married to a white man, so it's impossible to be one if you married to white folk. If you got white folk in your family, or you married to somebody white, it's hard to be black first. Your mentality is not black first. That's why you got that white husband. Okay, I'm just saying that's why you got that white wife, because you're not black first. You're no threat because they know you're safe and you're good, and you'll sell out your own for us. That's what they literally saying. So when I see a black man with a white woman, I know that you're not a threat to them. You're a threat to us. You're a threat to your own more so than them, and they know that. Back to Obama, back to the Black Caucus. Now Obama and Michelle, they know doggone well that they didn't do nothing for black folk, and they'll sit up there and talk about his legacy. Your legacy for me, you don't even want to hear what I got to say about that chump. Okay, your legacy don't mean jack nothing to me because you didn't do nothing for black folk. You did absolutely what you did do. You gave the LGBT something. Okay, you gave them same-sex marriage. You disgusting rat. You did do you gave the Indians $3.3 million reparations. Come on now, work with me. You wrote an executive order for the police who was murdering your own. But you wrote an executive order. But Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, and others, Sandra Bland, died on your watch. What did you do? How did you revenge that? What did you even say about that? But when they was marching and protesting in where Michael Brown died, Louisville, Kentucky, Missouri. I'm sorry, Missouri. You called them thugs. You didn't write an order. You called them thugs, but you didn't understand that they were suffering from PTSD because of what they had just saw that young man go through. Okay, because see, people saw Michael Brown die. Those people are suffering even till today. They're suffering from PTSD. You had a black activist, okay, Melissa McKinney, whose son she found her own son in her backyard hanging. They hung her son. You think she not suffering with PTSD? And all of those activists down there died. Darren Wilson, no, Darren, I can't remember all of their names, but all of them are dead. And two of them died inside of a car that the car just exploded, or a bomb, or somehow they in the back seat. Okay, I'm just saying they was in the back seat of the car, and the car caught on fire with them in it. I'm just saying you already know what that's had something to do with. But their families didn't feel like it was needed to do nothing about that. Okay. So there's another case of PTSD that they were suffering with. Okay. So, but you got this joker talking to us about his legacy. What legacy, Obama? What legacy? We lost more wealth with you in office, and you were black. We lost more wealth. So why do we, as black folk, think that the white supremacy, like Biden, Carmela is not black, y'all. Stop tripping. This girl daddy disowned her. That's why she's so angry against black men. She's suffering from PTSD herself. That's why she put so many of our black men in jail. Come on, we have to start recognizing the signs. This woman is not going to do anything for black folk. She's already told you. Biden's already showed you that I'm not doing nothing for black people. Why I'm not going to write any laws just for black people. That's what she said. If you did recognize and realize it, go on my Facebook page, you'll see what she said, because it's on there. I'm not going to do anything just for black people. That's what she said. When they talked about the police, asked Biden, are you going to defund or dismantle? He said, no, they're doing a good job. I'm not dismantling them. But guess what, Biden? It's not about you. It's about the people. You work for us. You work for us, Biden. We don't work for you. We put you in office. So what the people say is what you should be doing. You taking your own and you running with it and you saying, well, I don't want to dismantle them, so I'm not going to. Well, they're not killing you and they're not killing your own. They're killing us. So we said dismantle them. We said defund them. Take some of them millions of dollars, give it to school programs, give it to after school programs, give it to the career centers and attach them to the schools so that our kids can come out of high school with certificates or to open up their own business. Okay? Take some of that money and get us a mental health clinic because we need it. Start putting mental health classes in high schools, in elementary schools, so we can deal with the PTSD because it's passed down from generation to generation. This is why we spank our kids. Okay? This is why it came from slavery. So they taught you how to hate yourself, how to hate your children, how to hate you. They taught us how to love them and hate our own. They taught us that, you guys, on purpose. That's why when we came up under them, we went to their schools. Oh, they really having a field day now. Now they're trying to get it to where we weren't slaves, we were indigents. We enjoyed coming. We came here on our own. So guess what? If I wipe out your mind of you ever remember slavery, you're not going to want reparations because you ain't going to remember that you was a slave. That's why they got that book. Remember the book? The mom saw the book, and in the book it had that we were indigents, okay, servants, that we came over here on our own and we were happy to be here. Yeah, they trying to erase our history because guess what? If I erase their history as babies, they're not going to remember being slaves. We are the last generation that's going to remember being slaves unless Yahshua comes back and take this thing out. Our babies, you got them, you still got them raising your babies. You still got them teaching your kids. And you know what? They're not going to teach you. They're not going to teach our children our history. They're going to teach them theirs. They're going to continue telling them that Christopher Columbus, who was a pervert, who was a pedophile, who they honored and put on a calendar, that he continued to discover America. But we know Indians was here first. So how you going to discover somebody else living on? Tell me that. But guess what? That didn't matter because we're so glad to be under white folk because we got PTSD and we don't understand it. We don't even realize it. So we want to come up and we want to rise up. We look at Master, say, Master's okay if we rise up and come from under you. Wow. So we continue voting for people that have voting for a party that in history has been known to abuse Black people. We're voting for a group of people that are card-carrying KKK members. Now, the Republicans, we're not even going to mention them because we're not diehard Republicans. We don't expect them to do nothing for us, but we should expect the Democrats. If we're going to be diehard Democrats, we should expect them to do something for us. We are diehard Democrats that absolutely do nothing for you. You give them something and they do nothing. It's called benign neglect, ignore Black people. That's what it's called. But until we get to quid pro quo, which is you scratch my back and I scratch yours, until we get there, they're going to keep ignoring us because you're not demanding nothing. You're not asking for anything. All we ask is that he pick a Black woman. He gave you somebody that's a female Obama that has nothing to do with you, that's not going to have your best interest at heart. That's what he did. He gave you a Black woman whose record is horrible when it comes to Black people. She was known as the DA for the cops. She was known for the DA for the police. The police union has backed her. And when the police union backs you, they own you because they give you money. They've given her money and they owned her. So she never went against the police, never went against the police, never brought them on charges, never held them accountable. So do you actually think that she's going to hold them accountable right now? Am I still clear, you guys? You guys still hear my? Am I still? Can you guys hear me? Okay, just making sure. So she's not going to do anything for us, but they know that. They know they don't have to offer us anything. They don't have to offer PTSD survivors anything. They don't have to, because we're going to appreciate, we're going to look out for them, we're going to look up to them. We don't want to disappoint massa. We also suffer with Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome is not, if, for instance, say like somebody kidnapped us or they beat us or they treat us like they do. We don't want anything bad to happen to them. We want rather for something bad to happen to us, but we will forgive them, and we don't, just like Botham Jean's brother. That woman killed his brother, and he asked her for a hug. He said, "I forgive you." That's Stockholm Syndrome. We don't want to see any harm come to our enemy. We don't want to see any harm come to a person that's treating us bad. We rather come to us first than them. That's Stockholm Syndrome. We in bad shape, family. They know it. They know it. They really pulling on our emotional strings right now. This DNC, they really are putting it on thick. And they only pay attention to you Black folk. They wouldn't even pay attention to you when they was having their debates, remember? They didn't mention one Black issue, did they? But right now, they still not telling you what they're gonna do. They still not giving you a plan. We didn't ask for a plan. We just asked for a Black woman. We didn't say we have a list of demands. We didn't say we have a list of demands. We need you to do this, and we need you to sign it, and we're gonna hold you accountable. We didn't do that. We just said, give us a Black woman. So we give you, so he said, "Oh, that's all I have to do is give you a Black woman. You don't want nothing else? Okay, here she is." Gave you a clone of Obama. And we took it hook, line, and sinker. We have a young lady that has a YouTube, she's on YouTube, Karen. She's a coon. Talking about how we need to Kamala Harris. I had somebody say, "Oh, we voting for what, the of two evils, the best of two evils or something." I'm like, well, how do you vote for Satan or the devil? I don't understand that. What do you mean? But I'm just trying to show you examples of PTSD and what we're suffering with. Our past has shown that we've been faithful to the Democratic Party for 60 years, you guys. They only show you attention every 4 years, and they don't offer you nothing. But we're so died hard that we got to get rid of Trump, because they've convinced you that Trump is the devil. But the devil's standing right in front of you. The devil's convinced you that somebody else is the devil, because they don't plan on doing anything for you. But we've been convinced. They got to love us. They don't have to do anything. We're not used to them doing anything. We're not used to them promising us nothing. So we don't even ask. We don't even feel like we're worthy to get a law on the books for the police to stop beating the hell out you. We don't even feel that we're worthy for them to think about us, to give us anything. We don't even think we're worthy. Then they have the nerves to use other Black people that look like us. They have the nerves to want your vote. They won't even give you a job. Biden is getting ready to bring 11 million immigrants, meaning Spanish and Indians, because Carmela is an Indian, right? She's going to bring her people. We already don't have jobs, you guys. If they do give you a job, it's McDonald's making $9 an hour. How can a grown darn man make $9 an hour and take care of his family? You have 3 or 4 or 5 children. He can't. So he goes, why am I going to do this? He either got to get 2 and 3 jobs, part-time at that. Now, remind you, no insurance, part-time. And you're not married to the woman because she can't get Medicaid if she's married to you. Come on now, let's walk through this together. He's got to get 3 or 4 jobs in order so that he can make a decent living. And each job is going to pay him, what, $7.50, $8 an hour? That's $16. If he got 2 part-time jobs, 3 part-times, okay, he now making, what, $18 an hour, $19 an hour? But guess what? He's not there. He's not raising his children. They're doing it on purpose, family. They're doing it on purpose. But these are people that you put in office who's going to bring 11 million. You're already not working. You already don't have jobs. They already sent your work to China. Okay. But now, because Biden is sold out to China, you guys do understand that, right? Biden is sold out to China. So that's why all the jobs went to China. And he took it from here. So the black men, you won't get a job. We're going to send it to China. We're going to pay less money. We're going to send it to China. And them niggas can starve. Okay. They know we suffer from PTSD. They know we suffer from PTSD, family. But we don't know it. We don't know we suffer from PTSD. We knew it was something, but we just didn't know what. But they play on our emotions. Look at what's happening now. We just can't shake it. We got to start recognizing it. If you don't know something is going on, if you don't recognize it, you don't understand it. Okay. We've been so brainwashed. We was trained generationally through the Willie Lynch syndrome. And what the Willie Lynch syndrome was, they gave the woman authority to teach and train her children. So when the little boy was acting and he was, being mannish and sassy, he would get a whooping, right? Why was he getting a whooping? He was getting a whooping because he got a whooping because I'm trying to get off of here and get back on because my thing went. I need it. Because he was acting sassy, and they left it up to her to make sure that you kept that little youngin under control. Okay, remember the woman that let's think back maybe few months ago. He was out marching, and he told his mom he wanted to go out and march, right? And the mom told him don't go. So he went out there anyway. And did you remember what she did? She beat the heck out of him on camera, and all these white folk was praising her for doing that. Remember? That's the Willie Lynch syndrome. All them white folk praised her, and they gave her an award and everything. Why did they give an award? Because she was doing what she was taught and trained to do. She don't even understand that she was taught to do that. Because she said what? One day we may need the police. That's what she said. One day we may need the police. You need your enemy. You need somebody that's gonna come and kill your son. You need somebody that you're gonna call on the phone and they're gonna blow your brains out. You need somebody you're gonna call that's gonna murder you or your child. We don't need them. But she said, just like Aubrey family, when the police officer went to them and told him that Aubrey had broken that house, and the lady said, I believe them. And they said, why? Don't you understand the relationship we have with the police? And she said, but they were the police. Why don't we understand that we can't trust them? Why is it that we still have people saying, oh, we don't need to defund the police? Why is that? Why do we still have people backing the police? Why is it that half the Black Caucus signed that crime bill that Biden had and said it was okay? Why? These people were supposed to be protecting you. Do you see any other crime bills? Is white folk writing crime bills for their children? Is white folk writing crime bills for their men to be put in jail? Heck no. Remember the one man that killed a black guy that he was in jail, and they was abusing him and they was beating him, and the wife came and said, oh, I'm scared for my husband's life. She went on the news and said, y'all got to move him. They're going to kill my husband. Remember that? Was she backing a crime bill for her husband? But half the Black Caucus, yes, but half the Black Caucus stood for us, stood behind Biden when he wrote that crime bill, and your Black leaders, the church members, the church pastors. Okay. But then Biden paid the state so much money, paid them millions of dollars each state, that put on the books that gave you more time, black man. But this is the man, because you hate yourself so much. This is the man you want to put in front, in charge of your future, who has already showed you how he hates you and your children, who told you, I don't even want my kids to go to school with y'all. But we hate ourselves so much that we are willing to put a vote behind two people that have showed you how much how much you disgust them, how much they hate you. We have told them show them it's okay. You don't have to offer us anything. We're gonna vote for you anyway because we hate Trump. You hate Trump. What did he do so different? He just showed you he's a racist in your face. But Biden lies to you every day and smiles in your face. But that's the biggest racist and pedophile ever. And y'all don't even see it. Are you serious? But we'll give him our vote because we hate ourselves. And we'll fight against a black man that's trying to free you, trying to help you to get a defense team together, trying to get you to learn how to defend yourself, told you to go and get your Second Amendment, practice your Second Amendment. We have more black men, more black folk talking about this brother. White folk talking too, but they don't have to say much because we'll do it for them. White supremacists don't have to kill us. KKK don't have to kill us no more because we're doing it for them. We'll go against our own because we hate ourselves and an image of us through our eyes, and we looking at each other. Excuse me, and we hate ourselves. But we look up to mass. We will go against ourselves. I remember seeing on the video where this white girl went in a barbershop and she was dating one of the black guys. And one of the girls in there who's black had a problem with her being there because she didn't like white folk, because she recognized her enemy. And half of them people in there was loving this white girl. The black girl said something about the white girl, and everybody in that barbershop went against the black girl, and they defended their enemy. They defended their enemy because we for everybody. Black folk, the only one I hear saying the red, the black, and the brown. Black folks, the only ones that holler red, I'm sorry, brown and black. You don't hear the Mexicans hollering for the black folk, do you? You don't hear the black folk, the Mexicans caping for black folk, do you? Ever. I never have heard them say, oh, the black and brown. But I hear black folks say it all the time. We always include them. And they look at us and they're like, you go ahead and include us. We're not including you in nothing. Cortez, when she got elected and when she was running, she never mentioned black folk. She always mentioned brown people. But we have an issue mentioning black by ourselves. We have an issue. Why we can't ask for something just for us? We can't ask for nothing just for black folk. It don't run like that. Obama told you don't. That ain't how it works. He told you. I heard him. He said it. He was in a he did a interview. I'm gonna pull that interview up on next time. I'm gonna try to do a part 2 to this. But he did an interview, and he told the person that interviewed him, because he asked him about the black folk and what he was gonna do, and he said, "Don't work like that. America don't work like that." That's what he said. Meaning, America ain't gonna give black folk nothing. So he didn't even try to give you nothing. And people will tell you in a minute, "Oh, he tried." No, he didn't. He didn't try to give you nothing. Because if he would have tried, you'd have got it. Because most time they'll say, Obama didn't do it for you. What we gonna do it for you for? They'll tell you in a minute. Obama was your reparations. And if he didn't give black folk nothing, what we gonna give you? They knew Obama wasn't gonna do nothing for you. They knew. We see something that black folk doing, we go tell Massa. Massa, you know they planning on running away Friday night, 11 o'clock, don't we? Massa, they planning on days gonna do this Friday. Massa. Wow. We keep on doing the same thing over and over, playing the same record and hoping that it's a different tune the next time. We wait on white supremacists to do for us what we can do for ourselves. They're not gonna do nothing for us, y'all. We can do it for ourselves. They've never done anything. 60 years. We know that we have things to work on, right? As a Black, as a whole, we know we got stuff. We know, we see it, but we won't do the work. We don't want to even acknowledge that we got stuff, you guys. It's in your DNA. Trauma's in your DNA. Some childhood wounds, self-hate. We've taken on our abusers' characteristics. Relationship toxic. We've been so traumatized and we don't even know it. We don't even know it. We have a part of our brain that holds the trauma that we've gone through. And every now and again, we get triggers. Okay. Say, for instance, if you're dating a guy and he was very abusive. So you're in a car with him and he's threatening to throw you out the car. He got so mad one day that he actually said, yes, it is very frustrating. It is. I'm trying to hold together. I get so emotional with doing these shows like this, but it's hard because I see it, but we got to see it. We know it's there. We know, but we don't want to take care. We don't want to do the work. We want them to do it. Hey, just pass reparations. What you gonna do with it? They give you reparations. Half of you guys gonna go to the Chinese shop and spend it. Gonna get right back. So what y'all gonna do with reparations? What you gonna do with it? You gonna give back to Massa. Here, Massa. We got the reparations. We're gonna get back. What you want? Here, Massa. Take it. We're gonna go right to their shops instead of building our own. Instead of building manufacturers, building our own communities. We're gonna go right back to Massa. Go to Walmart instead of building our own Walmart. We're gonna go right back. Neiman Marcus. Who are some of the other great who Calvin Klein? I don't know. We're gonna get right back to them. People that don't even like you. Who told you? Tommy Hilfiger, right? Who told you? I don't want your black money. I don't even like you. I don't want you. Who's the guy that got the boots and they got the slave to trees and niggas hang black folks hang from trees? Who is that? Who the boot people? Okay, I can't think, y'all. I don't know. I don't know nothing about these styles because I don't wear all that stuff. But I'm just saying them yellow boots that we get, and they got on the side they got a tree, and you got things hanging from trees. Okay, I'm just saying this is stuff that we're dealing with, and you'll go and give him your money instead of you investing. Instead of you coming up with your own program, coming up with your own manufacturer, coming up with our own school, just like right now, instead of us coming up with our own schools, you're going to send your child to school with a mask on so that they can kill your child. Are you crazy? You done lost your dang on mind because you didn't concentrate on getting your own business together while you had 4 months to do it. Did we get a business together? No, we didn't. We continue doing what we've been doing. We're waiting to go back to a job that's not ever going to open back up for you. So you waiting on a stimulus. You waiting on a $400 a week. That's $1,600 a month. Your rent is $1,000. What you your car note is $300, and insurance, groceries. What are you gonna do with $1,600, family? I was in this thing where you put down $500, you get $3,500 back. Okay. I asked different people when you join, you want to join, want to join, when nobody wants to join. Take 4 to 6 weeks. You put down $500, nobody wants to join. That's you get that every month. You let your $500 roll, you get that every month. Nobody wants to do it. Timberland, yeah, that's him. Timberland, thank you. Wow. I'm just man, you guys, we're just victims. I'm trying to read the comments. I hate to look at comments. I don't want you to, I do see your comments, but when I read, I kind of lose my focus. So y'all forgive me if I don't, read the comments. Okay. I do apologize, but I'm trying to get it out. I don't want to forget, what I'm saying because trying to read the comments now I forgot where I'm at. But we have to deal with some issues. We have to deal with us. We have to deal with this PTSD. We have to start recognizing it and we have to do the work, family. We have to build our own schools. We have to build our own communities. We have to take that. If they do give you reparations, we manufacture, and some of us are moving to Africa. I'm just saying, I'm getting up out of here. I'm gonna do land. I'm not investing not a dime here. I'm moving. I've already got it planned. I'm just saying, land is cheap. Go over there and get you some land, 500. Build your house for $10,000. I'm just saying, come up with your own business. You don't want to go over there looking for a job. You can go over there. They need a bowling alley made up. You can pool your monies together, get you some investors, build a bowling alley. They need nightclubs. They need places that builders go for building supplies. This is stuff that's needed. They need export imports. I just heard that today. You can do export import. I mean, it's things that we can do there. Don't go there looking for a job. But if they give you reparations, you take it to the continent and you open up your own business and you do business there. One guy came and he has solar panels, and he's a multi-billionaire because he put solar panels on homes, on properties, on all his properties. You know, he has friends that are building homes, and they use him to get his solar panels. And the dude is done. We have to work on doing for self instead of you waiting for your enemy to bless you. They're not going to. They're hoping that you don't get it. They're hoping that you vote them Democrats in. They hoping that you vote them devils back in. They hoping that you still on the train. They hoping and praying that they still got you. They hoping. I appreciate you, Philip. Yes. Don't feel like I'm saying. I do want you to keep comment. I do. I appreciate you comment. Please keep it going. But if I don't mention it, others see it. But if I don't mention it, I appreciate everybody's on here. So yes, I keep comment. Yeah. Yes, do that. Don't stop. Don't stop. So we have to. So how are we going to deal with this PTSD? Let's spend the last hour on that. Okay. I have a 2-hour program, so I have split time just for this. It's called, one thing is called emotional flashbacks. Okay. And we have to start recognizing the triggers. Okay. So whether you were raped as a child, and I do believe that we have to have schools. We need schools. When we build schools, we have to have a PTSD, a Stockholm Syndrome, Willie Lynch program to help us to recognize whether it's Stockholm, but I think it's all free. Okay. Um, Transportation, export, yeah, yeah. Nightclubs, yeah, yeah. But are they gonna let you do it? Are they gonna give you the money, or are you gonna use your reparations to do it? Now, if you use your reparations, you can do it, because I do believe that where I live, there's nothing downtown. We Black folk need something. But you have to have security, and you have to be, searching Black folk when they do come in. But yes, I do believe that security and transportation will work here. Yes. But over there, yes, nightclubs, transportation, nightclubs, yes, export, importing, nightclubs, yes, over there. Yes. So let's talk about this emotional flashback. We feel overwhelming. Okay, say for instance, okay, let's talk about the girl in the car. She's in the car, her boyfriend's driving, he's really abusive. And a guy looks at her in the next car. Okay, you don't even know the guy, but she's not even paying no attention that he looking. Now this fool, he look over there and see the guy looking at him, at her, and he goes flip. He just flips the heck out. He just having a fit. He just starts driving super fast, and I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna, you get out my car, get out. He's going so fast, and he's just acting a fool. And he's like, get out the car. And he's going so fast, and he's like, reaches over and he's opening the door for her to get out, right? That's trauma. That's PTSD. Okay. Now, dealing with this every day, you dealing with this person every day who's very angry, who's got his PTS issues going on, and maybe in the service, and you've seen so much trauma in service, so you come home and you tripping out at night, and you having nightmares, and you go, that's PTSD. Okay. You were raped as a child, so you married now, and a guy come to touch you, and you jumping, and you can't. Okay, PTSD. And I need you guys to recognize the PTSD, the symptoms. Okay. For instance, you have kids that are killing animals, burning dogs, or whatever. I'm just saying, PTSD. They're suffering from something. Okay. Mental illness. Okay. Is it generational? Okay, what happened? Is it in your DNA? What happened for that mental illness to happen? Did you see something? Did you, for instance, a woman have a child, her child dies, PTSD, that's trauma. Okay, I'm trying to help you to recognize it. So, how do we recognize it? How do we deal with it? Sometimes you don't even know why you're feeling the way you're feeling, but you're in a car or you're in a car. Just say, for instance, you didn't dealt with that man, you're done dealing with him, and you're free of him, but the PTSD symptoms are still there. So you're driving in a car, right? And you get to a certain speed, and you start tripping out because you're thinking about your brain. Your brain and held onto that trauma. Okay, so you go a certain speed and you start tripping out. You start feeling rage and you start feeling all this. Oh my God, oh my God, you having, you can't breathe and you're rage and you feeling like you want to fight, you feeling like you want to kill somebody. That's PTSD that you've experienced from that abusive relationship. And that's what so many times we're experiencing even now as Black folk, that abusive relationship that we had with white folk. That's PTSD that we're suffering from. So what we want to do, we want to control, we want to act out. Okay, we want to act out on those triggers. Those are triggers for us. Okay, it's things that you will smell a guy's cologne who raped you when you was a child. That cologne, a man walked past you, that cologne, you smell the cologne and you go, oh my God, and you get emotional and you get, oh my God, you get fearful, you get scared, you ready to just, oh my God, you're gonna lose it. Okay, PTSD. Okay, confusion, very confusing. Okay, um, so because you're confused because you're feeling this, and you may not even remember or connect the dots. Okay, because sometimes we're not connecting the dots to PTSD, to trauma that we've gone through in America. We're not connecting the dots. Okay, just like when we got this brother and he rising up and we going against him, we don't recognize that. We're not recognizing that's how they taught us to act with each other in slavery. So of course we pass that down from generation to generation, right? Okay. Despair, you feeling despair, you feeling numb, you feeling distracted, detached, you feeling pain, rage, you feeling like I gotta protect myself. For instance, you're in a situation and you feeling like, you're in a room full of people and you've dealt with an abusive parent that ignored you. Your punishment was them ignoring you, and you feel rejected. Okay, you felt that rejection from that parent. So you get in a room full of people and you feeling like they're ignoring you because nobody's talking, nobody's paying attention, nobody didn't speak to you when you came in the room. So you're feeling, oh my God, they're rejecting me. So you feeling that, you feeling that. Okay, that's what we need to deal with, family. We need to start recognizing the triggers. How do we recognize the triggers? We're going to talk about that. Okay. And why do we need to recognize the triggers? Because in order to fix it, you got to recognize it, you got to be honest about it, you got to deal with it. If you never deal with it, if you don't want to recognize it, you never acknowledge it, you can't fix it. It's always going to be there. And we've not fixed anything. We've not dealt with the traumas. We've not dealt with anything that we've ever gone through because it's too painful. Sometimes you got to cry that thing out. Sometimes when you feeling that, you got to take some time and sit down and relax and say, okay, I was feeling this. Take your journal. You should start journaling. We have to understand how to deal with us. We have to understand, because a lot of times our children, you put them through PTSD. That's why they're on medication. So now they on ADHD because you didn't traumatize them, because you wasn't fixed, you wasn't ready, you didn't deal with your stuff before you had them. So you brought them into your PTSD world. Okay, so you sending them through hell just like your parents sent you through hell, and now you putting your children through hell too. Okay, it's generational. We got to understand how to recognize it, how to deal with those triggers, and understand why when we're feeling it. What is it? What's the situation? What's the situation? What's the trauma that happens? What trauma happened? Okay. When the police stopped that person, that young man in the car, and he threw him on top of the hot hood of that car, or threw him on the ground, or maced him, or tased him, that's trauma. That's PTSD. So now he's a police officer. He the rage, or he's mad, he's angry, or he want to kill, and the girlfriend is sitting right there. So he takes it out on her. Recognizing PTSD, family. Okay. You feeling those emotions. You feeling them come up. You feeling the rage. You feeling the fear. Okay. You feeling how you felt when that police officer stopped you. You feeling it when you see a police officer. You're not putting those two and two together, but every time you see a police officer, you don't even think about it. You just automatically, that's a trigger for you. You automatically go there. And if you are not writing this stuff down and journaling it to help you to recognize what you're feeling, when you feel it, this takes time. It don't happen overnight. It takes time to get the healing. But if you start to adjust it, you start to acknowledge it, if you start to handle it or tackle it, I'm telling you, you'll get there. But we got to do it as a whole family. You can't just expect somebody else to do it for you. Oh, you own 6 buses. What do you do with the buses? Are they medical buses, or what kind? What do you do with them? Are you taking trips? Now that you can start safari. You can do safaris with them. You can lease them out for different businesses that come over there. Okay, you can lease them out. You can let me see what else you can do with buses. You can do medical transports. Okay, you can do just about anything. You have a blessing right there. Yes, but you have to find out how much is it going to cost you. Is it going to be worth your money taking the buses over there? Because they may charge you taxes to transport them, taxes to when you get over there. A lot of it. It may be a lot of taxes attached to it. So, Philip, I would check into that before I decide to take those buses. It might be cheaper for you to just purchase some more buses when you get over there. Sell those here and purchase more buses when you get there. That might be a thought that you can do. Sell the ones that you have here, get top dollar for them, and go and buy you some buses over there and do the same thing there. That might be a thought, but I'm telling you, everybody gonna have to leave the U.S. So we should be thinking about getting our passport. So many like news outlets, sure, Black youth leaders to support. But yes, they do. Yes, it's sickening. But we as parents have to talk to our children. Trying true. We have to talk to our children to help them to recognize that they're not good for us. Okay, it's up to the parents now. Okay. And if we're not telling them, because half our young folk don't know what Biden did. So if we're not talking to them, we're not telling them, then that's on us. Because Black folk, we've dropped the ball when it comes to Democratic Party. We just automatically go generationally Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. We automatically do it because Martin Luther King used to be a Republican until he switched over when Kennedy helped him. Kennedy, he got into some trouble jail wise, protesting, and Kennedy helped him out. So that's why Martin Luther King went to Democrat, because he was Republican forever. Okay. So yes, back to you, Philip. You can check and see as far as transportation, as far as what's it going to cost you, how much is it going to cost you, is it going to be worth your money, is it going to be worth your time, is it going to be worth you transporting those buses, or is it going to be worth you just selling them here and repurchasing them over there and going that route? Okay, that might be a better way. You can do safaris, you can do tours, you can you can get into tours here, tours there. You can charge over tours to different cities in Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda. You can charge tours for that. I mean, it's so many. You have buses. That's an advantage right there. That's a blessing. You already got your wealth right there. So let's just think about getting your passport and getting set up. You can buy land. Land is $500,000, $2,000. Okay, start saving money now. You can purchase a condo. I've seen some for 60,000. You can offer him 50,000 in cash. You think they won't give it to you? You think in some places they're building new condos. Okay, you can put down money now, and you can start paying on them. Okay, and be ready to move over there within 2 years. In a year, I don't think you're gonna have that much. I don't think you have 2 years here. I really don't. I could be wrong, but I don't believe that Black folk have 2 years in America. I think we're gonna have to get up out of here rather before 2 years. I do believe that. So I think we should be getting our mindset ready to depart America. I'm just saying. Okay. Um, okay. Recognizing the symptoms. Let's try to recognize some of these symptoms. Let me see. Got to acknowledge the fear. Okay. Let me make sure okay. You got to start recognizing the symptoms. Okay. Acknowledging the fears, despair, acknowledging the pain. Um, because like I said, if you don't deal with it, you can't heal it. Okay. It won't just go away. As we see now, it's not going away. Learn how to deal with it, and it never just goes away. Learn how to recognize it, learn how to acknowledge it, learn how to recognize the symptoms. Okay. Analyze your life. As you heal emotionally, flashbacks will come less and less as you heal. Okay. With more time. Okay. Say for instance, like I said, rejection, being in a room full of people, nobody's talking to you, but you've dealt with rejection in your home. Maybe your mom wanted to abort you. Maybe your mom was raped and you were a product of rape. And you felt like, a lot of your family members treated you how your mom treated you, which you were ignored. You didn't feel important. You felt just like you were in the way. Okay, that could be something that you're still dealing with. So when you go to a party, you get a room full of people. Nobody come up to you, hey, how you doing? What's going on? You don't know how to interact with friends. You don't know how to interact. Period. So you're that's a trigger for you because you feel ignored in this big room full of people and nobody's talking to you. So you're feeling rejected. Okay. So now, how are we going to deal with that? You're going to be a conscious aware. You're always going to have your journal with you. And I know you might even, when you go at night, you have to journal every day. Either you journal in the morning or you journal at night. And yes, men, you can do this too. If you want healing, you have to do something. You can't be so manly. Don't nobody have to know you journaling but you. Okay, that's just between you. You can journal when you're in the bathroom. You can journal when you're on the toilet in the morning. You can journal at night. You take that book in there when you get ready to take a shower. You're sitting in the shower or the tub. Take your book and start journaling. When you're sitting in there in a moment, with you, instead of you reading your newspaper, journal. I'm just saying, it's time for us to deal with some stuff. Okay, you're gonna recognize what I'm feeling. You're gonna recognize your emotions. Um, why you're feeling rejected, if whether it's due to childhood being rejected, and you're feeling how overwhelmed it feels to be rejected, and is it due to what parents? Is it due to a situation? Was it due to you being rejected as in your, you could have had a teacher that made you feel less than. Okay, it could come from another person that you didn't trust. Well, somebody you trusted, like your teacher. Okay, you might have looked up to this person, but your second grade teacher, I'll never forget, I had a witch for a second grade teacher, and that lady, I don't remember her name, but I remember that ugly face, that white woman. But I'm gonna tell you, some of us black children have been abused, and we've gone through trauma. Some of these teachers didn't treat us well. Some of these teachers put curses on us and put their mouth on us. And I had a guy friend of mine that says his teacher, second grade teacher, said that no, it was his fifth grade teacher that said he would never amount to anything, and that stuck with him for years. And this dude was over 50, and he said he's just breaking free of it, and he's 50 some years old. He just broke free of it. I mean, it's breaking. He's still working through it. But look how long it took. And this happened when he was in fifth grade. Okay, and you're like what, 8 when you're 7, 6? How old are you when you're in fifth grade, Lord? 11, 10. I'm with you at 5 or 6. I'm sorry. You're like 10 or 11 in fifth grade. Okay, 10, 9 or 10. And he was 50 some years old, and he was becoming, just put two and two together. Okay. And I remember one girlfriend of mine, she went to counseling, and the counselor, she noticed in counseling, she was being positive with everybody except herself. And the counselor said, sat there and she listened to her. She said, I have been listening to you 5 minutes talk down on yourself, but when it comes to other people, you're very positive with other people. And she began to relate that to her childhood. And she said, well, with her mom, came back from her mom. Her mom used to put her down in front of other people. So what she do is she builds up other people and she puts herself down in front of them, because that's what her mom used to do. So those are triggers. But it's time for us to start recognizing those triggers and dealing with them. Seriously, it's time. Um, it's time for us to heal. It is. It's really. Sometimes you have to cry it out. Um, that's healing. When you sit there and you crying it out, that's healing. And then you're asking. It's almost like you're having your quiet time. You're having your peace time. You're reading. You're sitting there. You're meditating. You're just loving on yourself. You gotta learn to love yourself. Um, you got to acknowledge what the problem was. Why did you feel what you felt? You have to start recognizing the triggers. You have to start recognizing your feelings that you're feeling, and then you got to put two and two. Try, you may not remember it immediately, but if you're really working on yourself, it'll come. It'll help, especially if you talking to somebody. Like for instance, my friend was talking to, she had a counselor, she had a therapist, and that therapist helped her to put two together. And it came from her mom, where she was down herself, talking down about herself, but she was building everybody else up but herself. It came from her mom. So that she was able to recognize. And then when she would see that or hear herself doing that, she was able to deal with it. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to acknowledge, you have to put two and two together to be able to combat it. You have to recognize it. Okay. Um, You have to validate the emotions. Don't just ignore the emotions. Okay. You gotta, yes, I was feeling this. And why was I feeling this? And go back to well, I felt this. What situation was happening when you felt those emotions? Okay. You have to validate those emotions. You have to know, you have to acknowledge them. You have to know that they were there and can't ignore them, because if you ignore them, they're not going to heal. You're not going to want to heal them. You're not going to try to heal them, because you whatever been working for you when you do that emotional thing and you go through that trauma and you go through the emotions of it and you ignore it. So whatever is working, you're going to keep doing, right? So for instance, my girlfriend, she was rejected, and she was going through some stuff. And I have a couple girlfriends, but she was going through some stuff where her mom, would be ignoring her, like I said. And she kind of like, uh, now she don't deal with a whole lot of people. She have boundaries for everybody. And when she feels that rejection coming, she immediately shuts it off. She immediately shuts them down, and she goes right on by her business. And it'll be just like that person never existed. That's how she does it, and that's how she handles it. I don't know if that's a good way to handle it, but that's how she kind of counteracts the rejection. She just won't deal with you. And I mean, when she don't want to deal with you, she won't deal with you. You won't even be acknowledged with her. It'll be just like you never existed, and she'll be hey, how you doing? And keep it moving. She won't mess with you. She won't laugh. It's a wrap with you. It's a wrap. I'm serious. So that's how she deals with that rejection. Okay. Um, and you have to be more how do we deal, how are we dealing, how are we reacting to that current situation that we're having in the emotional flashback, because we do have those flashbacks. Okay. And these are emotional flashbacks that I'm trying to help you with. Okay. These are the flashbacks. Okay. Let's see the steps to overcome those flashbacks. Okay. What I was just saying was the flashbacks. Okay. Of the emotion, of the trauma that you had, that's still back here in certain part of your brain, that'll come up every time you is a trigger. Okay. Steps to overcome. Um, you have to really kind of be more aware of what's going on, what's around you. It's almost like you're saving yourself from having a flashback. Okay. So that's being very aware of your situations, very aware. It's almost like you're going to teach yourself a new skill, teach yourself a new way of thinking, teach yourself um, um, how to think better about yourself and others, in the world. Um, Learning ways to cope with the symptoms that keep on arising. So you got to get to the place where you are unwinding, rewinding. You're reminding yourself, but you're not. You're going to remind yourself, but you're going to recognize it. But you're going to put boundaries on the people that's helping you. Okay, say for instance, oh, let me see. Okay, say for instance, you're in a situation and that person just constantly reminds you of that situation that happened. That person is a trigger. You start dating a guy and he reminds you of the abuse that your father, okay, or that other person that you was dating, he acts like him. Okay, because a lot of times we attract other people that act like the abusers that was in our life, right? Okay, so you having boundaries. Okay, you're going to get to the place where you're going to have a boundary for that person and say, hey, I'm not putting up with this, I'm not putting up with this, I'm not putting up with this. And you are not going to allow people to come in and treat you disrespectfully. You're not going to allow anybody to come in and start yelling at you. You're not going to allow anybody to come in and make you feel like less than. You're not going to allow you having boundaries with that person. So you're going to remind yourself that this is what I'm not going to do, and this is what I'm not going to put up with. So you have to be active in this thing, and you have to stop it on purpose, family. Okay. It's okay to love on yourself. Okay. You pamper yourself. You take yourself to a spa. You get your toes, you get your nails. It's okay for you to look in the mirror and love on you, to say, I love Cassie. I love Cassie. It's okay for you to be good to yourself. Go buy you some nice little lingerie. And it's okay to spend some money. It's okay for you to look in the mirror and give yourself permission to love you. Okay. I'm just saying this is stuff that we can do, and you can actively on purpose heal yourself. Okay. But I still do think that we need therapists to help us to recognize the problem, to recognize the triggers, to recognize, because I'm just going through, but there's so much more to this. There's so many more avenues to this thing, you guys. Okay. So just, it's this is deep. It's really deep. Okay. And okay, you have to understand that you, like I said, when you doing boundaries, for instance, if you had a parent that was very abusive, you put boundaries on that parent. So when you call that parent, you talk to that parent, if that parent is being starting the abuse all over again, you hanging up. You're giving yourself permission because you letting yourself know I'm an adult now and I'm not putting up with that. I don't have to put up with that. And I'm going to disconnect myself from the past. I'm going to disconnect myself from that person right now because I am an adult and I'm not a child. And I will never allow somebody to speak to me that way again, or I will never allow somebody to treat me that way again. You have to, on purpose, you have to on purpose recognize and put your boundaries up and be like, no, you're not going to do that. I'm not going to let you talk to me like that. You put a distance. Sometimes you have to move to another part of the country, and when they call, if they start hang up, I gotta go right now, talk to you later, or you let them know when they start saying disrespectful stuff, you stop them right there. Hold on, we're not doing that today. We're not gonna ever do that again. And if you ever decide to talk to me like that again, these are the consequences. You are going to put consequences on them. You tell them what you will and what you will not accept, and you show them by following through. And I know we're going to want to fall back into that, but you have got to get to the place where you are falling through, you coming through, and you're going to tell them this is what's going to happen. And when they start talking disrespectful, or when they start disrespecting you, or when they start calling you out your name, or calling you stuff, or saying stuff to you that's inappropriate, hang up or walk away, period. And sometimes you may even have to stop that relationship right then and there, especially if you're dating and you see that you've attracted a creep. You stop that dating right then and there. Honey, there are other men out there, I guarantee you. But you are going to have to be strong enough to do this. This is why you need a therapist, because then you can make an appointment on Tuesday and say, hey, I need some help here. This guy I just met, he's a creep. I know he's a creep, but I'm used to dating creeps. So it's hard for me to walk away from this creep. Help me to walk away. And that's why that therapist will be there to help you to rethink things, to help you to refocus, to help you to get stuff back, where it needs to be, put back into where it needs to be, perspective. And then that way you can walk away and it won't hurt. It may hurt, but it's okay. At least it's not gonna hurt for 20 years. It'll hurt for a minute, hurt for a year, hurt for 6 months, maybe not even 6 months, may hurt for 3 months, just depending on when you caught it and when you saw it and how long you allow that person to stay in your life. Okay. I want you to relax and breathe. Stop rushing. Okay. You have to find that safe place. Okay. When I say sometimes for me, the beach, the lake. Okay. Just me sitting in a room, just with a book in a corner on the floor. And I'm laying there and I'm just thinking about my day. And I've just got some soft, I'm a worshiper. I love worship music. That's just me. And I'll turn that music on and I may lay on the floor and I'm just listening to it. And to me, that's healing. Because I mean, sometimes if it's time for me to deal with some things, everybody has issues, everybody has some stuff. Sometimes I'll lay on the floor and I just it might be a rough day that day. And I will get in the floor myself. I'm dealing with myself too. But guess what? It's time for all of us to deal with us. We have to love ourselves enough to say, enough is enough. Enough is enough. And the coons, they hate themselves. They've got to deal with their stuff. They got to actively, on purpose, deal with them being a sellout to their own, deal with themselves being sellout, deal with themselves, and come to grips that why do they hate themselves? Seriously, because coons hate themselves. And black men that date white women hate being black, and they hate a black woman because you represent them. They hate anything that's going to represent, that's going to look like them or represent them. They hate black women. They hate a positive masculine black man. Seriously. Okay. Um, you got to use your thought process to refuse to allow yourself to go back to the trauma. Okay. You're not going to revisit that. That happened. It's done. It's over with. I'm not going to revisit it. And sometimes you'll be sitting there watching TV and that little thought will come and you'll have that thought of when you was little and you were 9 year old and maybe something happened when you were 10 or 11, something happened, or when your dad, really hurt your feelings because he cussed you out, or he said something that didn't even mean nothing to him because he just said it, but it meant so much to you, or maybe when you told him, I want to be this when I grow up, and he's like, oh, what you want to be that for? Ah, that ain't nothing. And that could have hurt your feelings. That right there is what we're gonna deal with. Okay. because when they get quiet, some people have an issue being quiet. They have an issue when it comes to them being by themselves. They don't like to be by themselves because they start thinking, okay, it's good for us to be by ourselves. We're going to make it an attempt this week to be by ourselves, to give ourselves 15 to 20 minutes a day. And we're going to start thinking about how are we going to deal with this healing, because everybody that's listening to my voice, it's time for us to do some healing personally. It is time. You take 15 minutes a day. You set your timer for a minute. You can do 10, you can do 5, start with whatever makes you comfortable. And you're going to just sit there and you're going to listen to some really soft music, nothing that's going to be bang, 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 bang. No. And you're going to just sit there and you're going to allow yourself to heal. I'm giving myself permission to heal. I mean, this is even for me, and it's gonna take some tears. Sorry, fellas, but you can do this by yourself. Ain't nobody got to know you in there crying about your hurt, crying about that police officer, crying about that boss that got on your nerves and you want to punch the hell out of him. You cry about that. You deal with it. You deal with how you felt. You deal with how he made you feel less than. You deal with when that woman, you didn't bring enough money home and that woman said what she said. You deal with that. That may not be the woman for you, but I got 4 kids by her. Okay. You can still raise those kids and take them with you. Take the boys with you if you leave. I'm not telling anybody to leave, but I'm just saying what's best for you, because a lot of us are with mates now that we picked, who abuse themselves. They've been abused also. So you've been abused, they've been abused. That's not a good relationship. I'm just saying. Or you guys can go to counseling therapy together so that you can heal your relationship so that you can be happy. Because a lot of us are with people who we're not even happy with, because of the fact we dealt with them, or we brought them to ourselves, but we brought them to ourselves in a time period when we were going through abuse, or going through a divorce, going through a rough patch, so we attracted them to us, and those are not the right people because we're not going through that anymore. But they're still there, so you're looking at them like, oh my God, how do I get away from this person? So you're still not happy because you're in this relationship. You not don't want to be, so you're unhappy. So you got triggers all the time. So no, this you got. Sometimes you may have to get to the point where saying, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to do this. We're not going to do this relationship. I do apologize, and you got to walk away, especially when you know it's not healthy. Walk away. Apologize. We're gonna end as friends. And if you have children, you're gonna be there as much. Take the boys with you, fellas. You raise them boys. You get that boy. You get them babies some help. You get some help at the same time, and let's deal with our traumas. This is the only way the black community is going to get it together. And I'm not talking about the white folks, because they need trauma. They got trauma too, but they did some, a whole lot of stuff. They sleep with their dogs. They sleep with their cousins. They sleep with their babies. They sleep with their daughters. They sleep with their father. They got a lot of trauma. Okay, I'm telling you, but we're not worried about them. Okay. Um, like I said, refusing, using your thought process, refuse to allow yourself to go there. Okay. Allow yourself to heal. You give yourself permission to heal. I give you permission to love me. I give myself permission to love me. And you give that man or that woman that you have to attract to yourself permission to heal. This right here is a hard conversation for a lot of people, because a lot of people, this right here, this conversation right here, this thing should be full of people, but guess what? This is a hard conversation. How many of you guys agree that this is hard? We are looking at ourselves and we don't want to see ourselves. I'm serious. I knew that this was going to be hard on people. I know it is. It's hard to hear. I know it, because a lot of us went through hell in our childhood. And I do apologize, and I'm trying to help us to heal. I'm not trying to hurt you. I don't want to, and I'm trying to trigger you guys, but it's hard. I know it is. I know it is, family. But we got to do it. If we're going to get to the place where we don't want to go to Africa and we not healed up, then we'll take that stuff over there and be treating them crazy. We'll be treating them like white supremacists and treated us. No, we want to go over there feeling healed and whole, you guys. Y'all still with me? Are you still with me? Because I know it's not easy. I know this is not an easy conversation. And I'm going to tell you what, a lot of us are sick today, and we got a lot of issues because we have refused to deal with our stuff. We have refused to deal with our illnesses and our traumas, and we have allowed those traumas in our body. And that is the problem. We have allowed stuff to get on our nerves. Our blood pressure's up, blood sugar's up. We got all kind of stuff going on because we've not dealt with us. Okay. And we're not forgiving people. I'm talking about your brother. Okay. The heck with the white folk. I'm talking about your brother. You got to forgive your brother. You got to forgive your mom. You got to forgive your dad. I'm not saying because you forgive them don't mean that you're going to have a relationship with them. You forgave them, but you're not trying to have a relationship with them. You are trying to heal. Okay. And that's the only way that you can heal sometimes. And that's forgiving them and moving forward. I'm not talking about be crazy like Botham Jean and say, oh, I forgive you for killing my brother. Give me a hug. That ain't what I'm talking about. That's crazy. That's ludicrous behavior. No. And we stop forgiving these white folks. Stop forgiving these Democrats for mistreating us. Stop it. Stop forgiving them. Giving them more leeway, giving them more permission to cause harm. No, didn't I tell you, you got to recognize, you got to love yourself? Didn't I tell you about boundaries? Didn't I tell you recognize your past? Stop allowing you to relax, address those issues. We talked about that. Stop making excuses why it's okay for them to abuse you. Stop it. Nobody has a right. Nobody, you don't give anybody else permission. Boundaries, people, boundaries. We got to put boundaries around these people. They don't know how to, they start, you've been dating them 2 weeks and they yelling at you like you crazy. Excuse me, I'm gonna let you, I'm gonna dismiss you right now. 2 weeks? He ain't even got your heart. Let him go. This is why you won't sleep with people first 30 days, first 6 months. Get to know people. Stop trying to sleep with a person because he took you to get your hamburger. A lot of women do that. He done bought you, he went and took you shopping in the mall. I got to give him some now. No, stop. You got to get to know him. Because you could be with Jeffrey Dahmer, brother. Okay? And because he bought you a hamburger, you ready to sleep with him. That's because you got some insecurities. I got to do this to make sure he stays. Okay, you do that. I had one student. Let me tell you, one student. She was white, and she called up and we was doing blog talk and she said, I have a mother, I have a parenting group, and I have hard truths. I have a couple Facebook pages. Okay, I have a product I'm selling. I'm selling nails. So if you know of any women that want some nails, call, look up Cassie's Awesome Nails. Okay, but that's another story. But this young woman called and she was saying that her boyfriend had just walked out. He wanted her to have a threesome. She didn't want to, and he left. And he said the only way he would come back if she would agree to doing the threesome. And I asked her, I said, well, how does that make you feel? She said, I don't want to. I said, well, did you do it in the first place? And when you first met him? She said, yes. And I said, that's how you got him. She said, yes. I said, and this is what he's still expecting. I said, so now you have to apologize him for not being real to yourself, and you have to release him and let him go. I said, because if you do this, is it going to, what kind of results are you going to get? Is it, how is it going to make you feel? Because that's what's important. How are you going to feel? It's going to make her, she said it was going to make her feel, she didn't want to do it. It was going to make her feel, it didn't make her feel good the first time, but she did it because of him. And I said, stop doing things because it makes other people feel good, because it makes you feel bad. So you're going to pay more attention to your feelings and you come first. You trump anybody else. You have to love you. You have to be worthy. You have to feel worthy. You have to make yourself feel worthy that you deserve respect. And you didn't, and the reason you did it because you didn't feel worthy. You didn't love yourself. You didn't have enough love for yourself to love you enough to say, no, I'm not doing that. And why is it that you attracted that type of man to you? You have to fix that within you. It's not about him, it's about you. And I said, just think, you do this threesome. What are you going to have to do the next time he decides to walk out and leave? You have to do what next time before he comes back? So, hey, he's gone. Let him go. It may hurt for the first 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. Okay. But guess what? You're going to be done over him within a year and on to the next. Okay. But do the work in you so that you won't do that again. You won't feel, do the work for you to recognize what caused you or what was in you to make you do it the first time. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what we talked about. So, her thought was, I said, well, you can do it, or you don't have to. What results are you trying to get? Is that what kind of relationship would you want? No. Okay, then you stop it right now. You have boundaries. He's not there. He's gone. And you know what it's going to take for him to come back. He already told you. And if that's not what you want to do, that's not who you are, then you let him stay out there. You keep moving forward. Just cut off all contact. The sooner you cut off contact, the better it is. Yeah, you're going to want to call. Yeah, you're going to want to talk, but you have to replace him right now with a friend. I'm not talking about somebody you're going to date. You replace him with a friend. You join you like a dating a site. Okay, I'm just saying, and you get friends that's there to communicate. You're not, dating anybody. You just join the site just to have somebody to talk to, just to have somebody to go to coffee with. Just that, until you get done dealing with that absence of that person, because you only go back because you're missing that person. You're missing that communication. You're missing that companionship. But if you replace that person with some other kind of positive companionship, then you won't be yearning for that old companionship. You'll Your eyes will be on the new companionship, which you're only going to keep as a friend, not as a date, not as anything else, but a friend. Okay, because you don't want to get out of one relationship jumping into another, because it's pretty much the same type of guy that you just left, or a woman that you just left, because you're not healed and you're not ready to date, and you just jumped into something, and you attracted the same person, just a different face. Okay, all right, we almost done, you guys. um so you're allowing yourself to heal. you you're not allowing yourself to go backwards to that situation. Okay, take time alone. um Sometimes you got to ask friends for help. Okay, you got to ask friends for help. Take time by yourself and ask friends for help. Okay, because sometimes you can't do this. I think you need a therapist. I do. I think you need a therapist, and you see that therapist maybe once or twice a week for now, and then you might go to every 2 weeks, and then you can go to once a month. Okay, but I do believe that we need therapists indefinite. We don't ever get there. In the beginning, I do believe that you need twice a week, and then as you are seeing that person, maybe 3 4 months, then you can go. But actively, you have to be putting the stuff, doing the work. You have to actually actively doing the work. No sense in going to therapy and you're not doing the work, and you still, doing what you want to do. You go to therapy on Tuesday, you feel bad, you come back home. No, and sometimes they're called recovery groups. You can go to a recovery group. Okay, because I know a friend of mine went through a divorce and she was very angry, and she went to a recovery group, and they have those at churches, and it's a recovery group, and she said it really worked. Okay, it helped her. She was in it for a year, and she said the more she went, it was every Friday, and they talked. They Nobody dogged each other, and they was able to talk without anybody having anything to say, and they just put their heart on the table, and they talked about the issues and talked about what happened, talked about what went wrong. So you might can find a recovery group to go to instead of a therapist, and they're free. Okay, and they're with different churches, and it is called a recovery group. Okay, and you'll go every Friday, and you'll just talk it out. You write in a book, you're doing lessons during the week, and you're actively doing the work. Okay, and allow time to heal. You guys have to allow time. Don't think that you're going to be done with this overnight. It may take years. It may take a year, 2 years, 3 years. But if you're doing the work, you're building with each day, each second, each minute, each day, each year. You're building, and you're going to be there. And then less and less, as I said before, those triggers will come less and less because you recognize them, and you know how to start dealing with them. Okay. So don't think because we grown, we don't have anything to work with. We're grown, but we still have stuff to work with. I do appreciate everybody that's here. Thank you for tuning in, you guys. We're almost done. We're going to be done in a minute, but I thank you so much. I'm so appreciative. And I know this is a hard subject, and I do understand that. I do. But I am appreciative because you didn't have to join. You don't have to be here. And I know some of y'all probably probably didn't tuned off. Hopefully you'll come back and finish this discussion, because I think it's a very important discussion. I did put in the chat, if you wanted to join the conversation, you can feel free to join the conversation. Let me give you the Blog Talk Radio phone number again. It's 563-999-3682. Again, 563-999-3682. I know I'm usually yelling and screaming and stuff, but I wanted tonight to be something different, because I know that we have some things that we need to work on. And I'm very pleased for you, to be here. Um, Number 11, we got two more to do. Identify, you got to continue identifying the triggers. This is the chat. I put it in the chat. If you want to call up to have something to say, feel free to call. So you're identifying the triggers. And sometimes, you're going to have flashbacks of what went on, what you went through. And like I said, you're going to visit those memories. Okay. Yes, you can have flashbacks, but don't stay there. Don't stay there in those flashbacks. Don't stay there. And like I said, and that could be a trigger. Recognize the trigger that triggered that flashback. Okay. You always gonna recognize your triggers. Okay. So I think we look for things to be done overnight. We look for us to be healed up. We get tired of trying. We get exhausted. And I remember one time, my girlfriend was, because I went to that recovery with her, and then I kind of stopped, going, because it was more because she was going through a really rough time. So I went, but And then I did go back because I was like, wow, I really like that. So I did go. I did a year, okay, and it was really interesting. And I mean, the more that I went, the easier it got. And I'm telling you, they said, I remember one time they said, "Oh, Cassie, when you first got here, you was angry. I didn't even want to sit next to you." but but the more she said, and I could feel it. The more I was there, the more the easier it got. And I'm telling you, some when I first got there, the first, oh God, the first 2 or 3 weeks, um, I want to say the first 6 months, okay, was very hard. And some days it was, and I feel like when you cry, it's cleansing. When you're crying, it's cleansing you. It's cleansing your body. It's cleansing. It's really cleansing you out. Okay, so don't be afraid to cry. You don't have to let nobody know. It's between you and you doing this for you. You're not doing this for anybody else. You have to do some things for you. You have when you know stuff that you know that you're doing that's blocking your blessings and blocking the healing. It's blocking you from becoming your best. It's blocking you from living your best life now. You know what it is. It could be anger. It could be rage. It could be jealousy. Why are we so jealous? Why are we so rageful? Why are we so angry? Why are we so shameful? Why are we so just bitter and mean? And you have to be honest with yourself. If you want this to heal, if you want to get over this, you've got to deal with yourself. And if you don't deal with yourself, you're never going to get over it. You're never going to heal it. And you're just going to continue being this sourpuss that you are. And nothing will ever change or nothing will ever get better in your life. If you are going to get better, it is going to be up to you. If things are going to work, if things are going to be better, it is going to be up to you. Okay. So when you're ready to do this, then you'll do it. If you're not ready, then you'll never do it. But it's strictly up to you. Nobody can force you. Nobody can make you do it. Nobody can it's strictly up to what you are willing to do. Okay. Um, and like I said, be patient. Um, it's totally up to you if you're gonna do this or not. It's totally up to you. Nobody can make you do it. Nobody can force you. But it's about you being honest. It's about you. Even if you're on drugs now, let's find out why. Let's find the triggers. Even if you out there hoeing around, let's find out the triggers. Let's be honest. And it could be from you being molested. It could be from you, um, going through a rape or molestation as a child. Okay, let's really deal with that. It's time to deal with that and understand, why am I so promiscuous? Why am I flirting with every man? Why am I? It could be that you have a father issue where you date all supervisors and you break them down, you tear them down. It could be where you date men and you just break them down, period, because of those father issues. This is what we're dealing with, and I'm telling you, this is what Black folk we have to deal with the PTSD. We really do. It's time for us to deal with us. It's time for us to deal with our stuff. And it's up to you if you're going to deal with it or not. You don't have to. Nobody is forcing you. But if you want life to be better, you know that it's some things in you that you need to deal with. You know that it's some issues that you have. Some people, just are very bad. You can be in a relationship, but you're very bad at being married, or you're good at getting a woman, but you're bad at keeping her. Let's deal with that. What is it that you need to do in order to become that better person? What is it that you need to do that's going to help you to be worthy of that man or worthy of that woman or worthy of yourself? What is it that you need to do? Who is it that you need to forgive in order to deal with you? PTSD is what we're talking about, family. And it's not a joke. And a lot of Black folk deal with PTSD. We suffer from PTSD. We really do. It is time for us to start recognizing the issues and recognizing the triggers and dealing with those triggers. And some of you are triggered even right now, and you could not even handle this conversation. That's why you're not here. But it's okay, because when you get ready to deal with you, and when you get ready to deal with those triggers, you are going to deal with them. Okay. But I just put this show out there because I know that we as Black people have PTSD, Stockholm syndrome, and Willie Lynch syndrome. And it's not easy to deal with that. It's not easy. We have to start recognizing those symptoms. We have to start recognizing the Stockholm. And we talked about the Stockholm syndrome. We talked about, and that's loving your captives. If you are held captives, you would rather see something happen to you than something happen to or being your captives being punished. That's Stockholm syndrome. Okay. PTSD. is you dealing with traumas. Okay, we've dealt with a lot of traumas. We've gone through a lot of traumas. You think I'm gonna come up with Tatiana, okay, Brianna, okay, that Kenneth. You think he's not dealing with PTSD? Kenneth, what's it, Kenneth? I don't know his last name. Brianna, say her name, you guys. Brianna's boyfriend. You think he's not going to deal with PTSD now? Dealing, he saw his girlfriend. He was fine. Then he, saw his girlfriend die that night. You think he's not dealing with PTSD now? Those police officers who didn't care, who came into that girl's heart, came into her house and killed her in cold blood, shot her 8 times. He's literally saw her laying on the ground, saw, you think he's not playing that over in his mind over and over and over? I'm just saying. Those stuff like that we have to deal with in Black folk. We have PTSD and don't even we've not even gone through traumas like that, but we've gone through police brutality. We've gone through stuff on our jobs. We've gone through stuff as children in schools, in these schools, because we came under our enemy. We went to school with them, and they treated some of us like dirt. They treated some of the Black kids like crazy. We didn't even have any type of protection. We would go to them and tell them white folks like kids was doing this to us, and they look at us like going over there. And treated you like a dog, and didn't no protection when you went to school. And then you was working hard, and they make you feel like you were stupid because you still got a D, and you did all you could, and then you didn't understand, and they didn't know how to teach you, but they didn't bother to take time out to help you to learn what you need to learn. So you felt that you were dumb because they didn't know how to teach Black kids, because Black kids learn different. PTSD, family. PTSD. And it's time for us as Black folk to deal with the PTSD symptoms. We have to start recognizing the triggers, and we have to start dealing with them, family. In order for us to get past this, in order for us to get through this, we have to deal with us. Plain and simple. Now, your question is, are you ready to deal with you? Are we ready to deal with us as a whole? And I do believe that that needs to be included in some of these classes, that we need to establish our own schools for our children so that we can help our children deal with PTSD. We as adults need to take classes, night classes, to deal with the PTSD. We need to have therapy classes where it's either one-on-one or in a class to deal with PTSD, because that's what we suffer from. And people say, oh, wow, we finally, yes, we put a label on it, because that's what it is. And I read to you what PTSD meant. It's dealing with traumas. It's the trauma. Black folk, we've been through trauma in these Americas since we've been here. We've been through trauma. It's hard to go through what we've gone through over and over and over and not have trauma. These police officers have abused us. Your bosses, your parents, because they've learned how to parent you from white folk who didn't know how to parent their children. It doing slavery, who told us, showed us that we couldn't show love for our kids. We couldn't show affection to our children, because if they did, when they got mad at them, they would sell them. So we had to put in the spankings. We had to talk to them. We had to put them down in front of massa. So guess what? That passed down from the DNA. So that's why your mom calling you all these names. And when the white person, or when somebody come up to you and say, oh, your daughter just so blah, blah, blah. Oh, that thing, girl, she terrible. Oh, that thing is the devil. You start talking negative about your own, because you learned that from slavery. Because when Master would come and say, oh, he's really coming along, what do we do? Oh, no, Master, he's just a stupid old thing, and he died. You start talking negative because you was thinking that he was going to sell your baby. So you start trying to bring out the negative in your child, even though it wasn't there. But you was trying to save you was trying to save your baby from being sold, because you was thinking Master was thinking about selling your child, which he probably was. So what did you do? You start talking down on your child. You start telling Master how dumb your child is, how stupid you are, and all this crazy stuff in order to save your child's life. PTSD, family. Black folks suffer from PTSD. We really do. But I don't think we recognize it. I don't think we knew how to recognize it. But that's what it is. Stockholm Syndrome and Willie Lynch. Look it up. Botham Jean's brother, he'd rather see her, his enemy, than his own brother. He'd rather see her not go to jail. He wasn't paying his brother back. He wasn't being loyal to his brother. He was being loyal to his master. We don't want her to go. We forgive her. Do you really believe that that boy forgave? Do you really believe that family could forgive her that easy? Do you really believe, if you really believe that it was over a year, it was happened within a year, the trial was a year, do you really believe that within a year that family forgave her? Really? You can honestly sit there and say, I forgave you. You are fooling yourself if you really think that. They were fooling themselves. Yes, that's right. Yes. Strangely, you're right. We don't support each other through the healing process. We don't know how. We don't know how to support each other. We don't know how. That's the thing. We never learned how. We never healed. We went through all of this for 400 years, over 400 years, and still counting. You think those guys in jail aren't going through PTSD, being raped at night? Some of them are there and they didn't do the crime. Some of them are there that did the crime, but they treated like dogs every day. You think that the PTSD is not being piled on? And then you come out of jail for the ones that are out now and they still can't find a job because they still holding that over their head. But white folk can go and get a job today after they went to jail. But white folk can come out and get out of jail today and get back into that $100,000 six-figure job. You're right. They're no joke. You're right. Soul ties. We're gonna talk about that too. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Soul ties. Oh yeah, we getting ready to get on some stuff because I want black folk to deal with some stuff. It's time for us to deal with stuff like never before. If you want to be whole, how are we going to be free? How are we going to be free enough to go into Africa? One man looked and he said, "This is not my house." I mean, he said, because he said something about Grandmaster or NFAC was talking about we going home. We're gonna go back home. He said, "This is my home. This is my home." You see how we hate? Do you see the self hate right there? This is not your home, brother. This is not you. This was your forced home. Now go back and be free. You rather stay here amongst your enemy, amongst white supremacy, who talk about you, who dial you out every day, every chance they can, instead of you trying something new. This is the thing about black folk. We don't want to try nothing new. We want to keep on continuing doing what we know don't work. Even though we know it don't work, we want to continue trying it, continue doing it, even though we know it never worked. We never want to try something different. That's the sad part about it. We don't want to try nothing different. We want to continue doing the same thing that we knew never worked. It never worked. Voting never worked. Democrat never worked. We're going to keep on trying it again. After 60 years, we got 60 years and have nothing to show for it. People, we're still dying, still fighting for equality, the same thing the Black Panthers were fighting for. We're still fighting for them 2020. The same thing the Black Panthers was fighting for, equality, justice. They're fighting still for it today. But are we going to change anything? Nope. We're going to keep doing the same thing. Even if it didn't work, we went to church for 30 years. I grew up in church. It never worked. And when I would tell people that, what they say? Oh my God, what do you mean it never worked? I'm being honest. People, they would look at me like I was crazy. Well, is it working for you? Now, lying, say it is. And I want to know what part worked for you. Did you get the miracles? Did Caesar Borgia give you miracles? What did he do for you? Did white Jesus do anything for you? What is it going to take for us to get the healing that we need in order to move to the next level? What's it going to take? That's my question to you. What's it going to take? What's it going to take? I want to see us come out of this on top. I want to see us come out of this hole. I want to see that we come out and we deal with this PTSD. We deal with our stuff. We deal with the shortcomings. We deal and stop doing the same stuff over and over and over and over and over and over and hoping that it's going to be different the next time. Let's stop doing that. Let's stop allowing or wanting or waiting for white supremacy to get us out of our mess. Let's stop waiting for them to do what we can do for ourselves. It's almost like I'm waiting for a bus, right? better yet, I read this book, Who Moved My Cheese. It was an amazing book, and it was about 3 rats. And the one rat, they would go to this one place and they would get their cheese, and ooh, they was just happy every day. They go and get their cheese. They would eat, fill up, and they every day food was there. They were good. One day they went, no cheese. Wow. What do we do? One rat said, okay, well, no cheese today. Maybe they forgot to put it out. Okay. First day was good. Second day, they went, no cheese. One went looking, he goes, okay, y'all. Now this second day, okay, they go back home. Third day, come back, no cheese. The one rat say, hey, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go out and look for me some cheese. They start talking negative. You mean to tell me you gonna go out there? You don't know what's out there. Where you going out there? Which way you going? Where you gonna starve? Okay, he said, well, if I stay here, I'm gonna starve because I'm hungry now. So what do I do? Do I stay or do I go? First rat went. He went. He went. Second rat, they come back the next day looking for cheese, no cheese. Third day, fourth day, fifth day, okay, for like week, they ain't hear no cheese. They hungry. The other rat, he said, well, I got to go. He was, he was convinced. I'm gonna go try to find me some cheese. The other rat must have found something. He didn't come back, which he did. The other rat he was still up there. Looked like he would have bought some cheese back to them, but he said, hey, them fools stay in there. Go ahead and stay there. I'm gonna eat all this. Okay. So the second rat, he left. Third rat, he's still stuck. Okay. Second rat, he going through the maze, and he's okay. A couple times he was about to turn back around because he said, well, if I go back, well, at least they might put some more cheese out. They might. So I need to go back. So he thought about going back. He turned back around. He thought, well, okay, I'm okay. Well, I'm out this far, so let me just keep going. But few times he wanted to turn back. Few times he wanted to turn back, but he kept on the journey, kept on the journey, kept on the journey. So the third rat, he's still back there. He about dead. He about dead. It's 3 months. Okay, well, not 3 months, but like about a month. Okay, he's half dead. Okay, he on his last leg. He about any minute. He about death is right at the door. Okay, so he strikes out. And he dies in the process because he waited too late. Okay. First mouse, he didn't found him some cheese, but they didn't know it. Second mouse, he finally caught up, found the cheese. And the first mouse said, what took you so long? What took you so long? But the third rat died. Didn't even attempt. He kept going back to the same spot over and over. Just kept going back. Wasn't no cheese for months. Wasn't no cheese for weeks. Wasn't no cheese for days. But he kept going back, looking, thinking, hoping, and praying that some cheese was going to be left. And nothing was left. End up dying right there. Never got that cheese. Never had sense enough to move. That's Black folk. When are we going to leave? When are we going to do something different? When are we going to step out and look for our cheese? When are we going to look for our cheese? Our cheese is there, but it's going to be up to us as a whole, a collective whole, because what we can do is vote as a whole and say, hey, we're going to vote as a collective block of Black folk. And this is our demands. This is what you give us. This right here, we'll vote for you. We got 40 million votes. Million, right? 40, is it 40 million? It might be 50 million to Black folk, might be a little more, but we got 40 million Black folk. We do it as a whole, and this is, you'll get all of our votes, but you got to do something for us. And this is the list. Our vote is up for sale. So to the highest bidder, whoever gonna do what's on this list, if you do what's on this list, you got our vote, but we're gonna hold you accountable, and we expect you to do this list. And if you don't do this list, then guess what? We're gonna hold you accountable. But we need it. We want it. That person say, okay, I got you. I want your vote. It might be an independent. It might be, I don't know, Republican this time. Who said, I'm going, this is what I'm going, we put him financially, we're supporting him. Okay. That's okay, Philip. You can replay it. Okay. But we come back, we're going to support you. We're going to support him monetarily. And he said that he's going to give us what's on our list. Okay. He's going to give us what we do. We support him as a whole. We block him. We put him in. We block the other one. We vote for him, vote him in, and we hold him accountable to this list. If you don't hold him, if he don't do this list, then guess what? He don't get in next year. Same way with your council, your Congress and your Senate. If they don't do what you need them to do, you block them. You don't continue working for them. You don't continue allowing them to do same stuff over and over and not doing what they need to do for you. They promised to take care of you. They promised you gave them your vote to do what? Nothing? No. So we hold them accountable. We start holding them accountable. I do appreciate everybody that tuned in. This is only a 2-hour show on Thursdays. I will be back Tuesdays. We are going to come up with some good conversations. If you guys have anything that you feel that we want to talk about or we missed, you put it in the comments and I'll be looking at the comments. Everybody like and share the video. Please don't leave here without liking and sharing because we want this video to get out. I think this is an interesting video. I think it's something we need to know. And I just want you guys to like and share it so that we can get the algorithm up so that we can bring more people into the lives. But just let them know that it's time for us to deal with us. And it's up to us if we're going to deal with us or not. Okay. But with that said, you guys, I got a song for you. And I do want you guys to think about what I've said. I do appreciate each and every person that came, each and every person that's going to come back and visit this live during the week. Take some notes and let's make it happen because we can do this. It's up to us. Nobody is going to do for us. Nobody but us. White supremacy hope that you don't get it. They hope you vote for them. They hope you put them back in that chair. They hoping and praying the Democrats get in there because they got some things for us black folk. And I'm telling you what, it ain't gonna be good. If you're not reading, if you didn't go over that Kamala's record, you didn't go over Biden's record, and if you vote for them, you're in trouble. I'm gonna keep talking about this until the election time. So if everyone, I am gonna put a little bit about them in there. So I want you to do your homework. Don't be voting for the lesser of two evils. There is no lesser of two evils. Plain and simple. With that said, family, I do appreciate you for checking in and tuning in. And with that said, have a good week. Keep your head on a swivel. Be safe. Practice your Second Amendment. Get your passport. Get your passport. And yes, you can do it. Yes, you can do your passport now. So yes, you can do your passport. At our post office, yes, you can. So don't let somebody tell you can't do your passport. You can do your passport. That's that peace, family. Thank you for joining. Have a great one.